Hey everyone, Michelle Seidling here with another episode of Food Experience Unplugged. Today we'll explore the confusion about vitamin supplements and how using supplements correctly and wisely can build healthy habits. Here to help us do that is Dr. Arielle Levitan, an internal medicine physician and co-author of the book, The Vitamin Solution. Two doctors clear confusion about vitamins and your health. This podcast is available on multiple platforms, including Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, and others. Please be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform to be informed as new episodes become available. Also, be sure to rate and review the podcast on your favorite platform. Also, check out our website at foodexperienceunplugged.com for some resources as you begin your health journey. Arielle Levitan, welcome to Food Experience Unplugged.
Thanks for having me. So great to be here.
Oh, well, we are so happy to have you as one of the vitamin experts. And so good to be able to talk about supplements and those types of things and how that contributes to healthy habits.
Sure.
But first, will you take a moment to introduce yourself and tell us what brought you to this point in your life and in your career?
Sure. So I'm Dr. Arielle Levitan. I am an internist, so I practice internal medicine. And several years back, a friend and colleague of mine, Dr. Rami Block, and we were friends and colleagues. We, both saw patients. I as an internist, she as an endocrinologist, and we would talk about our patients' needs and things that were coming up in the office. And we both realized that a lot of our patients were confused about vitamins. We felt like even though we had very different practices, we were both spending a lot of time each day talking to people about vitamins and their sort of confusion, what they should and shouldn't take. People were hearing a lot of conflicting information from, friends or media, different sources. One place would say you should take calcium, another would say you shouldn't. And what we recognize as physicians is that there's definitely a role for vitamins in helping people to get healthy. But that is different for every individual. So what your friend's taking may not be what you should be taking. And so we together started to investigate the industry a little bit, worked hard to educate ourselves even further as physicians on the proper role for vitamins in health. And ultimately, a couple things came out of our process. We ended up writing the book, The Vitamin Solution, Two Doctors Clear the Confusion About Vitamins in Your Health. And then we also co-founded Vous Vitamin. And Vous Vitamin is a company, it's a web-based company where we help people get the right vitamins for their individual needs by creating personalized multivitamins. So people can go online, take a survey that kind of mimics what it would be like to meet with one of us in the office and sort of answer the questions that we would typically go through with you as a patient. And then at the end of the process, you get a multivitamin that's created towards your needs, gives you, medically sound ingredients and high quality products that are designed to help the individual. So it's been kind of our labor of love for the past about 6 years now. And it's been a lot of fun. We've learned a lot ourselves. We've helped many people get educated about vitamins, and we've also provided thousands of people with great products that they really enjoy.
Oh, fantastic. Wow, what a journey that's been, just discovering for yourself information about vitamins and then sharing that with others through your business and your book.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, as internal medicine, did you always want to go into that as a profession, or was that a career change? What was that?
No, I mean, for me, I was always interested in primary care of some sort. I always really enjoyed kind of getting to know patients, seeing them through the duration of their life cycle, or their adult life cycle, I should say, and kind of getting to know them, as a whole person, helping them take care of every aspect of their health. So, that was always my interest.
Okay. So what, as an internal medicine physician, what kind of sparks you in your work?
Well, I really enjoy, again, getting to know my patients really well, seeing them through transitions in their life. And then also, I think a little bit of the things that I've enjoyed about Blue Vitamin, which is helping people to get educated about their own health and their own needs and like the ways that they can make a difference in their own health. I'd much rather see somebody early on in life and get them on a path to better health through diet, lifestyle, vitamins if it's appropriate, and through preventive healthcare, than to see them 20 years later when they're having a heart attack or being diagnosed with cancer and
Sure.
sort of cleaning up the mess, so to speak. Because I think there
Mhm.
are so many ways that people can be proactive.
Sure. Now, do you see a wide range, everything from prevention to post illness or so forth?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the benefits of primary care is we really do see people at all those different touch points, and it's sometimes challenging, sometimes frustrating, sometimes very sort of touching, I guess. But it is enjoyable, and now that I've been in practice for about 20 years, I really have enjoyed getting to see people through different stages of life. I love seeing the women who are young moms now, but who I used to take care of when they were themselves in high school. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, wonderful. That's fantastic that you've just looked at that whole range of experience over
Mhm.
time.
Yeah, fun.
Yes. Now, with the vitamins, you mentioned a lot of your patients had been asking you questions, so forth. Was that a recent thing within the last, several years before your book, or was that
Yeah, I
ongoing?
think over the last decade or so, I would say there's been a growing interest in vitamins and health. I think there's been a lot of great scientific studies done that support certain vitamins as being really useful and safe and preventive in terms of health. For example, something like vitamin D, which has become really, a pervasive. Certainly, we become aware of the pervasiveness of vitamin D deficiency, and people, are starting to learn about that, and even more so now with COVID. So things like that, I think, have been growing in interest. But I think medicine has always known that some vitamins were important and useful. I think
Mm,
on the flip side, we've also seen a lot of not so safe and not so medically sound uses of vitamins over the years. I think that unfortunately, there's a lot of sort of quackery out there, a lot of people pushing products that are not necessarily safe. One thing that we really learned a lot in our journey in founding Vous Vitamin is that the vitamin industry is not well regulated. And in fact,
mm.
there is no FDA oversight of vitamin and supplement products. So the things that you might buy off the shelf at Walgreens or Target or wherever you shop, those products are not, nobody is really overseeing their manufacturing. So while the label may say that it contains X, Y, and Z, many independent analyses have shown that products off the shelves of these big retailers do not contain what the labels say. So they may just not have the ingredients that are listed in them, or they may have other ingredients in them that are not listed on the label, which sometimes are potentially harmful substances, or even prescription medications are sometimes snuck into vitamin products.
Mm.
So that was a huge piece of our education and a huge part of what motivated us to found Blue Vitamin, because we felt like as physicians we needed to be recommending products or creating products for people that we could stand behind as physicians, that we knew were safe and reliable.
So with that, is that where a lot of the confusion is fueled? You mentioned just different issues, but what kind of fuels all of this confusion about different vitamins?
Well, so I think that's part of it. Is certainly people aren't aware of the quality issue, and they think that if they can buy something, at their local pharmacy, it should be safe, especially if it's labeled as natural and a supplement. But unfortunately, that is not always true. So that's one issue. But then there's also the issue that people don't necessarily realize that even good quality, quote unquote, safe and medically sound vitamins can actually also cause harm if they're not taken properly, if they're taken in excess or with certain medications or in the wrong doses. Even something as useful and potentially helpful as vitamin D, if taken in excess, is actually quite harmful. We actually have a chapter in our book called Vitamin Horror Stories, where we list off a number of situations where people end up in the hospital in really severe medical situations from taking overdoses of certain vitamins. And again, things as simple as vitamin D or vitamin A or even some of the B vitamins, if taken in excess, can cause great harm to people. So, just like any medication, vitamins have to be really used properly with physician guidance, and the amount that your friend takes may not be the amount that you should take. And that's, something that we focus on a lot with Vous Vitamin is, the personalization process where we give you the right amount and the right vitamins for you based on your diet, your lifestyle, who you are, and then your health concerns as well.
Okay. So how do vitamin supplements, how does that integrate into the mix in terms of helping people develop healthy habits?
I think that there's a huge role for vitamins and supplements in sort of working towards a lot of people, of course, people want the sort of magic bullet that's going to, make them lose weight or, whatever it is that they're hoping for. That's not always the case. And I would caution people to be wary of any supplement product that claims it has these magical properties because usually that's a sign that it's not safe or not a good reputable product. But I think that in many ways, vitamins can be a great way to sort of jumpstart your journey to better health. I think that if you get the right nutrients, and in part through food, but also through supplementing with the right vitamins, I think that it helps people in a few ways. I think one, if they're looking to eat better, I think that satisfying their nutritional needs with the right vitamins helps reduce people's craving for unhealthy foods. So they tend to be able to control their eating a little better and eat a healthy diet, eat the things they know they should eat rather than, binging on things that might not be as healthy. So that's one way. And then the other thing is, I think overall people feel better when they take the right vitamins in terms of their energy. So if you feel more energetic and focused and, generally just have that level of sort of higher functioning, again, it allows you to focus more on taking care of yourself in other ways. It helps you keep the right diet. It also helps motivate you to exercise. I think if you are feeling good and energetic, you're much more likely to go out there and do something else that's good for your health, like exercise and eat well. And so I think it's all kind of tied together, and it's a great. So the vitamins, the first really easy step for some people is just to take the right, you get the right nutrients going, and then the rest sort of starts to follow.
I love that. I loved it. Just the tie-in that, just getting that nutrition that you need helps to kind of jumpstart other habits as well.
Hmm. Yeah, for
Oh.
sure. And sleep too. I should mention sleep's a big one. Sometimes people who suffer from vitamin deficiencies often have poor sleep for a variety of reasons, and taking the right vitamins can help with that. And if you regulate your sleep well, then again, sleep is integral actually to losing weight. A lot of people don't know that, but sleeping the right amount is actually really important. To help with weight loss because your brain actually secretes a number of hormones during sleep that are helpful for weight loss. And again, sleep, helps sort of fuel your body during the day. So it helps with energy, focus, and also to reduce those food cravings that can be unhealthy.
Absolutely.
Vitam- Vitamins can trigger that healthy sleep pattern as well.
Sure. That's really important. I love that tie-in. Now, you've worked with a lot of people over the years with vitamins, and how are there any success stories about how people have really used vitamin supplements and really to balance their health, balance building habits, that type of situation?
Sure. I mean, I think that vitamins can be sort of like the foundation for a healthier life. Again, there's no magic bullet, and they're not going to take away all your problems or solve every medical issue you have. But I think it's just a really simple and straightforward way to sort of jumpstart things and to get on the right track. So yeah, I mean, we have countless stories of customers from Blue Vitamin who have given us great testimonials to how they sort of used vitamins just to start their journey to better health and how within months they were feeling better, losing weight, exercising, just really generally getting their health in order. And so I think that it's an easy thing that everyone can do to get on the right track. I will also say that, and I know that she doesn't mind me sharing this, but my business partner and co-founder Rami Block, she also a physician. She found vitamins to be incredibly helpful in her recovery from breast cancer. She was diagnosed with breast cancer actually shortly after we had started our business. She had a hereditary risk factor, and she went through some really major treatment and was, really down for the count for the better part of a year because of all of the treatment she went through. But during that time, she drank the Kool Aid. She she took the vitamins just like we recommend to everyone else, and she really feels that it helped her get through everything and come out much faster and much more energetic on the other side. And she's, she this was several years ago, and now she leads, an incredibly healthy life. She's, was made, chairman of her department since then, and has taken on just great new responsibilities. So she's better than ever, I'd say. And I think she would credit vitamins as definitely being a part of that journey and that recovery.
Wow, that's amazing. I love how just implementing what you're teaching, but also living. Yeah, a great example of how vitamins can help.
Hmm.
So now, in addition to Vu Vitamin, now do you are there any examples of those who you work with in your practice, patients you work with, as far as their vitamin supplementation and their journey?
Sure. I mean, I think that again, one of the reasons that Rami and I both came to this topic was because we were seeing the role that vitamins were playing for so many of our patients. So, as a primary care physician, I was sort of discussing with many of my patients as a part of their preventive health the importance of vitamins. So, whether it was for bone health or immunity or other aspects of their health, I was sort of making sure that everybody was on track, taking the right preventive supplements. But what we also were finding, both Rami and I, was that a lot of our patients were coming in with complaints and symptoms that they thought were related to serious medical problems, but that they were actually related to vitamin deficiencies. And if we could
Mm,
correct these deficiencies, people were feeling so much better and their problems were getting better. For example, in the endocrinology world, people would come in thinking that they had a thyroid problem because they were tired, they were having trouble losing weight, they might have felt like they had thinning hair, which is a common issue that's caused by vitamin deficiencies usually. And so what we were finding is, people were thinking that, oh, it's my thyroid, but when you check their thyroid, their levels were absolutely fine. It was actually that they had these subtle vitamin deficiencies which they were not aware of. And if you could correct those, then their hair would grow back beautifully. They would feel so much better, and really it was almost magical. One thing that we still see all the time with that vitamins can be integral in helping are things like migraines. There's a role for a number of vitamins in preventing migraines and other types of headaches. So getting people on the right regimen there can be life changing. Um, Things like brain fog and sort of that cognitive fatigue that people get, low energy situations, also can be often remedied with the right vitamins. So there's a number of conditions. Irritable bowel syndrome, there's a role for vitamins. And then just for overall, preventive things, like I mentioned before, bone health, immunity, cardiac prevention, heart disease, risk reduction, things like that. There's a lot of great data and a lot of people who've really benefited from using vitamins as a part of an overall health regimen. I would never say that vitamins are a replacement for traditional medicine or for other lifestyle changes and other medications potentially depending on the situation, but they certainly can be a useful piece in the puzzle.
Interesting. I love that. I love that tie-in, that when a patient comes to you with, a migraine or thyroid or some other illness, that the you include, vitamin supplementation in the possible solution.
Yeah.
So interesting. Now, is that common to doctors in general, or more toward your line of work as an internal medicine?
I think it varies a lot. I think that unfortunately, traditional medical education has not had a huge focus on the role of vitamins. And unfortunately, I think a lot of us did not get the education we should have in medical school. So some of us have had to really like do some research on our own to figure out, the medically sound role for vitamins. I'm hopeful that that is going to change more in the future, and that more people are going to be a little bit more attuned to how vitamins can play a role in people's health. I think that the pandemic is definitely changing that a bit. I think there's been a lot of interesting data regarding immune health and vitamins, and a lot of people are, looking towards vitamins to stay healthy and hopefully prevent getting ill or prevent the severity of potential illness with COVID. And there's a lot of research that's very promising with that. So I do think that that's opening a lot of people's eyes to the importance of vitamins.
Okay, absolutely. And just, in as a physician, you're constantly reading and coming up and learning different research and different things coming out there. So that's
Yeah.
super helpful that you're able to integrate that into the mix.
Mhm.
Oh, very nice. Now, for people who are just starting out with vitamin supplementation, I'm not sure how prevalent. I guess maybe a question before this is how prevalent is vitamin supplementation? Do most people take vitamins?
There's varied data, but some research shows that up to half or more of adult Americans take some kind of vitamin supplement. So, whether that's a multivitamin or individual supplements, it certainly vitamins are very popular. What we would love to see is to have more people taking the right vitamins and taking the vitamins that make the most sense for them based on their individual needs.
Hmm. Sure, absolutely. Now, for those getting started, regardless of what type of supplementation they do, how can people go about getting that information they need to determine what's the appropriate thing for them?
Well, I would certainly, if you're interested in really diving in and reading more about vitamins, I would certainly recommend our book, The Vitamin Solution to Physicians Clear the Confusion About Vitamins in Your Health. I think it's a really user friendly guide to kind of, you know, giving sort of a very concise, medically sound opinion about different vitamins and different conditions that are amenable to vitamins. A lot of people have told us that the book reads like it's kind of like if your best friend was a doctor and you got to ask them questions about health and vitamins, what they would say.
Okay.
It's very approachable. It's very, not a medical textbook by any means. So that's a lot of the feedback we've gotten. So that might be one way to educate yourself. And then if you want, an easy way to get the right vitamins for your daily needs, I would strongly encourage you to go to Vous Vitamin, VouVitamin.com, and take our survey. It's about a 7-8 minute survey. It's really easy and fun to take. Many people tell us, and just answer the questions about yourself. And at the end, you'll be presented with the right combination of vitamins for your needs.
Hmm. Okay. So great, and that's super helpful to kind of understand what vitamins that most people need, as well as their different quantities depending on their situation.
Exactly, because we're not all the same. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I'm sure what I need is different than what you need, and my husband takes completely different vitamins than I do because we have different diet and different other factors about us, and that's fine. But you have to really take a personalized approach because it does not make sense that everybody in this country should be taking the same multivitamin. That thinking is very flawed.
Sure, absolutely. You want to make sure you get the right amounts, as well as what you're taking, as well as how much you're taking.
Exactly.
Oh, wonderful. That's fantastic. Well, as we wrap up, what advice would you give for those starting out, no matter where they are on the spectrum of vitamin supplementation?
I would just say to really recognize that vitamins can play a really important role in your health and that you should really take them seriously, both in terms of what you take, but also where it comes from. Don't make assumptions that products are good or safe or are what you need based on questionable claims and based on where you're getting them, because unfortunately the industry is just not well regulated. So you have to really look towards a trusted source, not only for the product itself but also for knowing exactly what you should and shouldn't take. There's a lot of vitamin companies out there, and a lot of retailers who their goal is to sell you as many products as possible. So if you ask them what you should take, they're going to tell you a list of 20 pills and powders that they think are useful for you. And
Mhm.
the reality is that is probably not true, and most of them are either unnecessary and or potentially harmful. What we've tried to do is to really streamline our recommendations so people get exactly what they need, no more, no less, and it's safe, it's cost effective, and it makes a lot of sense. But unfortunately, not everybody in the vitamin industry has that same approach. So that would be sort of my word to the wise.
Is oh, great. I love that. And just do your homework essentially. And
Or let us
uh,
do it for you. That's actually why Food Vitamin exists. We realize that a lot of people don't want to, read volumes or, spend hours researching and again, not even knowing which sources are trustworthy in terms of their research. So, take a 7-minute quiz, tell us about yourself, and let us, as the doctors, do the rest.
excellent. And with that, how can people get in contact with you?
So the best way to get to us is through VouVitamin.com. Check out our website. It's VOUS vitamin.com. Again, you should be able to take your quiz that way and check out our blog. We do talk about lots of vitamin related topics there. And you can also look at our book, The Vitamin Solution. Two doctors clear the confusion about vitamins in your health.
Wonderful. Well, we will include all of that in the show notes. And Arielle, it has been a pleasure. I love your focus on vitamins and integrating that into your practice and into your work and into your book. And we sure appreciate the work that you and Rami have done so far and will do.